in here. Maybe this will work. How about that? There we go.
We're
Good
we're on.
morning.
We're live.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Super Sunday wrap up where we talk about the week's news and do a few things. Maybe have a couple of conversations, hold a few opinions, and let's see where this goes from there. Today we have a wonderful guest with us this morning. You know him, you love him, you see him all over the interwebs. Please welcome Chillmonger.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, comic books, whoever I'm broadcasting to.
Today, right now, we are live streaming to Facebook Live, to Twitch, and to YouTube. So if you can't comment on the YouTube, you can go to the Twitch, so you can comment there. You can go to the Facebook and comment there. But I think you can comment on the Facebook, on the YouTube as well. So we'll keep an eye out for the comments and try to respond as many as we can when we see them and talk, discuss them amongst ourselves. How's your week been?
Pretty good. I had to watch some Rocky, or rather, some Creed films to catch up on that franchise. That's
Hmm.
about it, movie wise, right?
Well, it's a really good, I think, a good series to end the month of February with, discussion wise, because it what it does is it transfers the ownership of one franchise to another, somebody in the younger generation. Because basically, what we have here is Rocky giving up the mantle to Apollo Creed's illegitimate son.
Here's the difference between this and superhero stuff. Time doesn't pass on those comic books pages that we got, those things. If they're 25 one week, they're 25 the next week and the next year and then so like that's a different thing. In the real world where time does move on, yes, the mantle of lead character in the boxing franchise goes to Creed. However, do we call it the Wizarding World or do we say the Fantastic Beasts is a Harry Potter film? It's a Harry Potter thing, right? Likewise, Creed is a Rocky film. If they do Fast and Furious, okay. I was gonna say something wrong. I was gonna say if Toretto has a kid, and that's the new lead, we still call it Fast and Furious because it was never called the Dominic Toretto family series of movies. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
that's the thing. When you name it not after a character, when you name it after the body of the thing, then we're always gonna look at it as that. So good. Don't name your franchises like Naruto. Don't name your franchise as something about one character.
Do you think the Hobbs and Shaw are part of the Fast and
Yeah,
Furious franchise?
it is. And they're calling this new movie Fast 10? Okay, hold on a minute. If Tokyo Drift counts as the third Fast and Furious, then Hobbs and Shaw counts as the 10th Fast and Furious, or the ninth one.
Well, it's all about the numbers, I guess. And well, you know what? I really don't know because I don't follow that particular storyline or franchise of films. But what I do know is that we have another guest joining us this morning. You've
Good
seen
morning.
her all over the interwebs. You know her, you love her, or you don't, because she holds a couple of opinions. Please welcome Miss 1776.
Good morning. How is everybody doing today?
Do it good.
Doing
Good.
great. We're doing great. How are you doing? Are you all hyped up on the coffee and the energy drinks?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I think I got like an hour and a half of sleep last night. I just did the same thing I used to do back in college, which was you wait till you're like really exhausted, you pound back one of those shots, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up refreshed. It's like the weirdest thing. And then you have your
Well,
second one just in case.
it takes about 20 minutes for the caffeine to enter your system and start revitalizing everything. So when you slam down an energy drink or a double shot of mocha latte, whatever they sell up there in California, and then you take yourself a power nap. That's why you wake up so refreshed. Is because it takes about that long, and then you get a little bit of rest, and then your body feels okay, and then you can go for another 20 to 30 minutes. So we'll see how it falls off here as the show goes on.
Well, I have my other backup one right here, so I can just go ahead and start busting up. Let me see. I think my mic's a little off right now. Let me go ahead and try to fix that real quick.
Go ahead, go ahead. And I'll see if I can segue into the first topic of discussion, which is Roald Dahl's children's books. If you're not familiar with Roald Dahl, you just aren't familiar that he wrote some of the things that influenced your childhood, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Um, well, that's all that influenced mine. But he wrote several other books, like The Witches and other children's books, and they've taken to republishing some of his books. But the editors have come in with what they call sensitivity writers. And I'm guessing it's because maybe he might have called somebody a fatty, or taking a harsh look at or different you know negative looks at racial stereotypes, as was the trend in the 50s and 60s for people to do. And let's see, I got an article here. Let's see. British publisher has come under fire for rewriting new editions of Roald Dahl's children's books to remove language that today's readers deem offensive when it comes to race, gender, weight, and mental health. Well, there you go. I missed one. Puffin Books, a children's imprint of Penguin's books, worked with the Roald Dahl Story Company, which is now exclusively owned by Netflix. The
Okay.
plot thickens. To review the text, RDSC hopes that rewriting books by one of the world's most popular children's authors, whose books have sold more than 300 million copies worldwide, would ensure that Dahl's wonderful stories and characters continue to be enjoyed by all children today. Dahl is the author of many popular titles such as Matilda, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Witches. But in the years since Dahl's death in 1990, some have turned their focus to the number of harmful tropes used by the late British author, including a history of anti-Semitic comments.
That's not enough just to say these things. I've got to see it and decipher for myself whether or not he is as bad as, because, he's being accused of being insensitive. Now, I could believe that this guy is doing insensitive stuff. It's possible, and I might be here like, yeah, get rid of that. No, the kids of today don't actually need to enjoy those stories. We're good. Don't even get the sensitivity writers. Let's just have that guy's name be lost in time. Forget him. I could do that, but I got to see what he's saying. Like, if what he's doing is something that's like mildly, I can see that's insensitive. I'm not gonna kill him over that. I got to know what it is.
So from my article that I had read, I had seen where it pointed out two different changes that they had made versus the originals versus the edit. So one of it was Augustus from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Instead of calling him enormously fat, they've changed it to enormous. He was enormous. And then for the witches, it was talking about their different jobs. So they had, before they had jobs like secretarial type jobs, it seemed like. And then now it changed it to like, they're like business people, which to me, it's like, okay, that's just such a weird, unnecessary
are we
change.
shaming secretaries, or is there something wrong with being a secretary?
I was called a legal secretary for a while. So,
You were legally called a legal secretary.
well, actually, I was technically a paralegal, but the accountant didn't care for me too much, so she would always make sure to toss an assistant or secretary instead.
Okay, but like, so what?
See,
I'm
just
if
such
they
a
make
people
a
pleaser.
taxi driver Indian, are we gonna say, oh, you can't do that? Like, that's all right, whatever.
Well, that's what they've been doing. Let's see, they've gotten rid of Uncle Ben. They've gotten rid of the Land O'Lakes. Native, who else did they get rid of? Aunt Jemima. that's what they're doing now.
Yes, but they did leave the Quaker Oats guy, so Let's see, the Indian representation. Native American representation, the African American representation. Both of those gone. Boom, boom. Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima, but the Quaker Oats guy stays.
Well, and here was an interesting story my dad had told me about Speedy Gonzales. I guess they try to get rid of him because they're like, he's offensive to Mexicans. And then like there's like a bunch of Mexicans who are like, hey, he's such a cool character. So there was like an uproar over, them getting rid of him. So they ended up bringing him back. And obviously, I'm like, yeah, it's old. But like, so obviously, this isn't something new. People have been doing this weird stuff for a while where they just decide to randomly decide, you know what, that thing's probably offensive to that group of people. And the group of people's like, what are you talking about? You
How
know?
do you cancel Speedy Gonzalez but say it's okay for Slowpoke Rodriguez? I think that is probably the worst stereotype. I
I
mean,
didn't even think of that, but
he's
yeah.
Slowpoke Rodriguez. He talk like this, and he's kind of the stupid in the brain. And then also he carried the gun because he's not as fast as his cousin, the Speedy. Plus, he don't like to do all of the work. So I think that is the more racist of the two mice.
So you were the voice actor, clearly.
Oh no! That was Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
Mel Blanc was a brilliant man of 1,000 voices. One of the people I idolize the most. But there's other people that can do his voices, so there's no room for me in Hollywood.
Well,
But those examples that you just gave about enormously fat into just that he was enormous, bro, that's so soft. We kind of not need to encourage fat, obesity, and stuff like that. Is a real big problem, and it's a real big problem.
Sorry.
We should like the fat shaming. I'm not the guy to be over here like, yeah, we got to quit that fat shaming, open bodies, and positivity. I'm not that guy. So I don't. That one doesn't reach to my sensitivities. What was the other one that you said though?
The witches and their job titles.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah. You already
basically,
told me.
it's not. And I haven't read witches, but it almost seemed like what they were kind of doing in their like to kind of, oh, this is just my job. I'm just a normal person, and I mean, but at that point, you're not really blending in. If you're like these highfalutin scientists and all these other things, how is that blending into? It seemed like they were trying to blend into the background. That was kind of their thing. So I'm like, well, you're missing the point of the character.
I don't think it's harmful to let people know that there is some danger involved in being a larger person. Okay. Um, I happen to be what they call, and I don't know if you can tell by looking at me from the shoulders up, shoulders down, but it's called morbidly obese. That's the medical term right there, morbidly obese. If you want to look at what actual obese is, take a look at Chris Pratt when he was in The Office. Okay, you might have thought he was chunky, but no, medically that's obese.
Mm-hmm.
So to call somebody large and not obese is a kindliness. Calling them enormously large, maybe they should have said morbidly obese. But you know what? It's a good thing to lose the weight. It is not a good thing to have the weight. The weight itself is an indication of other issues that people have, and it's emotional issues that tie into the eating,
Mm-hmm.
the habits. Sometimes habits you got going
Sleep,
on.
water, all those.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, you don't drink enough water. You start retaining. Yeah, your body starts to act to retain water, and you start drinking a lot of the sugary sodas or sugar equivalent type sodas, and your body starts reacting to that as well. And you wind up having toxins in your body and all kinds of other things. But
Yeah, and anything that we could do to discourage, including language in children's books that calls people enormously fat. That okay, yeah, sure. Let's do it. Let's have kids know that this is a bad thing to be.
mm-hmm. Roll the blueberry girl out of the building. So, wait, that was from the movie, not from the book. Any last words on the subject, Miss 1776?
No, I think we've covered it pretty well.
The history of
Killmonger?
anti-Semitic comments is interesting to me, and if he is guilty of this, then yeah, I don't want, even as good as Matilda was, it's okay. We can put this guy to bed. I just need to know what he said.
Well, you know what? If he said something in his private time or attended a few clubs and did not put that in the books, like some other people may have put into the books, then I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if the Oompa Loompas weren't code for Jewish detainees in a factory, then I think it's okay. But that's one of them points where we can disagree on, and it's fine. So let's see. What was the next thing I was going to talk about here? Oh, yeah. Ant-Man made some box office. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I got one more thing to add here. Here's one of the new covers of the revamped books. That's Roald Dahl's Charlie, He, Him, and the Sustainably Harvest Fair Trade and Employee-Owned Chocolate Factory.
Oh, I didn't get it. Yeah, okay. I was like, oh, he was the forefront of this pronoun thing, and I realized what's going on.
That took all of 5 minutes, so I had to include it. But Ant-Man and the Wasp. It says the sting is working. I don't know. I got this article was from earlier in the week, and it says marketing, making. Let me read this here correctly. Making the first studio event picture of 2023, the third film in Marvel Studios and Disney's standalone superheroes, is headed for a franchise best domestic debut of $120 million at the President's Day box office, including $105 million for the 3 days. Now, I'm one of the firm believers that when it comes to businesses, what they want to know is it going to bring in, is it going to put butts in seats and make money? If you're making money, it's a good thing. If you're not making money, it's a bad thing. So, according to this, overseas, the Marvel pick collected 121.3 million for an early global start of 241.3 million. Not sure if it's going to hit the $1 billion goal that everybody seems to have these days, but it looks like they're doing good. What do you think?
It's good. Ant-Man made more than the last Ant-Man and the Wasp, so that's good.
It's 1776. Probably went through a tunnel, but that's okay. I think I don't really have a problem with the visual effects in the movie. I think sometimes you got to have your popcorn flicks, you know, uh, shows and movies that aren't going to be pushing too much of anything. Maybe doing like they've been doing with the television series. All of the television series seem to be there to put something down for later on in the future. Every single one of them that debuted last year had characters that were not main characters of that particular show, but are going to be starring in future events and features later on. So, introducing us to Kang early on, I think, is a smart move. Hiring Jonathan Majors, definitely. The man's got talent for days. He could have slept walked through this and still made an effect on the film. And I think there were some arguments about whether or not the daughter seemed to show Ant-Man the respect he deserved for saving the universe on more than one occasion. But I think with the issue with him not being in her life, part of the story, I think it makes sense that she would carry over some of the way the mother looked at Ant-Man. Because he was a criminal, he wasn't in their lives, and she did divorce him and marry somebody else. And you can't get separated from somebody without sharing a little bit of that animosity with the children. So I don't mind Cassie Lang not really looking that far up to her dad. What do you think, Chill?
Whatever. The dad stuff. I whatever. I don't have a strong opinion here.
You don't have a strong opinion about Ant-Man, and
it was the movie I expected it to be. I enjoyed it. I had good parts to it. I know what was missing from it, and the plot of the movie was it served what it was supposed to serve. We got Cassie there, who we know where she's gonna go towards being the stinger, being the stature. All right.
yeah, I think what they did with MODOK is no different than what they've done in the comic books with MODOK, including the MODOK Supreme, and taking the brain out of MODOK and having them separated and restoring his body and whatnot. Disney does what Disney does, and that's take what they have available in the tank and put it to use. So they took a character that they completely forgot about, had shrunk down. When they finally came up with uh, their their new universe, their microverse, if you will, they found a place to put them and put them to use. So good on you for picking up the pieces and continuing to play with them, before they get thrown away. Miss 1776.
I haven't seen the movie yet. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I guess I really can't form an opinion on here. But I do know from what I was, it does look like it kind of was hit hard box office the second weekend. That's what I've
Okay.
reading about. They said it's going to be like basically the biggest loss for like what was it, a Marvel studio or superhero movie that made over 100 million domestically. Like it was the biggest loss for second weekend. I believe that's what it's saying.
It went down 82% when I checked.
Yes, yeah. So, and then they're trying to kind of blame it a little bit on Cocaine Bear, which there was projecting that it would make about 30 something, and Cocaine Bear only made I think like 21 or was projected to make 21. I'm like, okay, how are you gonna? Even if you add up those numbers now, it's still less than what they projected. So you can't blame poor Cocaine Bear there.
No. Cocaine Bear did as well as it should have, I think. And I don't think it did anything to stop the box office. I mean, if you look at the panel right now and our exposure to Ant-Man, I think it pretty much sums up what the box office did. Not everybody went. And
And I'm not going twice. And I go to movies for Marvel all the
Mhm.
time, twice. And I'm good with
Yeah.
this first viewing.
Well, there we go. So I think we're pretty good on that. So
You know what hurts them? Disney Plus. I know it's going to be on Disney Plus 2 months from now. And because of that, I'm just going to check it out, tune into what Kang was up to. Oh, yeah, that'll refresh my mind for the new Loki series. They hurt themselves by closing the window between theatrical release and then watching it at home.
I kind of, I do agree with that to a certain degree because for me, there are certain movies you always want to see in the theater. I mean, I must have seen No Way Home at least 3 times in theater just because it was so good. And I would have seen Doctor Strange too multiple times if it was good. But it went back like over and over and over just because I would have loved to have seen him on the big screen. And I can't even force myself to watch it a second time right now. So,
wow.
no, I'm so mean. I am a really
Yeah,
mean person.
I think that movie was saved by Sam Raimi. Honestly, I think it could have been a lot worse.
I think he did a
Um,
great job for what they allowed him to do. I don't think
yes.
it's more like this. Disney's the one like holding him back on that. It's same with like or what's his name, Benedict Cumberbatch. He did the best he could with the script that he was given, but it's still not good enough for me.
I like Eggs Benedict Cumberbun. I think he's a fine actor. I think he really enjoys what he does, and that shows.
Mhm.
I think he's a big ham. I think he's a big ham. And I say that because he was the dragon Smog in The Lord of the Rings, and he basically crawled around on all fours, and that's how he did his voice work for that thing. They didn't have really a capture suit on him. He just did that because that's what was getting him into the role of the dragon. So all kinds of fun he's having, I think, being the Hollywood guy.
Uh-huh.
So, did you guys happen to hear about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
They shredded Shredder.
They there was a headline I read that said that they were going to kill off all the Ninja Turtles and replace them with women, female turtles, and
Okay.
that was clickbait. Very much so, clickbait. Basically, what they're doing is they are continuing a storyline uh, called The Last Ronin. and in that storyline, the one of the turtles survives while his other brothers are died or deaded or however you want to say it. And he goes on this last Ronin story arc where he's trying to avenge their deaths and get back at the people who ended them. And the last Ronin Part 2 starts a story arc where the turtles will be replaced and the last Ronin will eventually die and be replaced by four other turtles. However, these turtles are siblings and are being raised by April O'Neil,
Mhm.
and there are two brothers and two sisters. So, this particular thing is something I think is probably not as sensational as the headline made it out to be. You know, it says here, built on the idea originally dating back to 1987. At the zenith of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles' popularity, The Last Ronin from IDW Publishing functions as a formal endgame for the famous quartet, co-written by Tom Waltz and TMNT co-creator Kevin Eastman. So one of the creators is actually involved in this, and it has his complete blessing for it. So, what do you guys think?
It's Elseworlds, right? It's just the Ninja Turtles aren't actually dead. There will be more Ninja Turtle stories. The last Ronin one, that was like 2 years ago. Everyone
Mhm.
seemed to like it. I don't see why they wouldn't do a part two. And then just putting in female Ninja Turtles, that's the thing. That's the thing you do. It's always been the thing. They're permanent. They're not. I mean, rather they're not permanent. You know what I mean? They're not going to stay. So whatever. Do your little story in the comics. Maybe they'll make it a movie sometime, but we'll see how well it sells. Most people are invested in who was going to be the last Ronin, which we found out. Well, maybe I shouldn't say because you're not saying, but when we found out who that was, I was like, yo, that was a thing. These four new characters, I hope they don't wear red, blue, orange, and purple. I hope they find some other colors because all I'm going to see is not the true Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. I think that it's already been established that there are female Ninja Turtles in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles canon with the TV show. What was it
April.
called? I think it was Next Generation. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Next Generation, a short lived live action show with people in costumes, and they had a girl turtle in that. So this was done back in the 90s and the 2000s already.
98
So
with the Power Rangers Lost in Space.
mhm.
Remember when the Power Rangers were in space and then the Red Ranger became a Blue Ranger?
All of that, Power Rangers is a whole other subject, and the reasoning behind the costume changes season by season to me is really absolutely hilarious. But if you don't know, they were based. They would take these Japanese shows. I'm going to murder it here.
Sentai.
The Sentai, yes, the Sentai shows, and they would bring them in, and they would take the action sequences and the monster sequences out of it, and then shoot here in L.A. I say here in L.A., but I'm not there.
It was Angel Grove, California. Okay.
Okay, Angel Grove, California, and they would shoot the American side of it so that it would all kind of match up and be one story. And because in the Sentai series, there are new Rangers every single time in a new situation with new bad guys and new things and new robots and new costumes. They too had to change their costumes every season. So that wasn't the case for the Turtles because that was just a homegrown thing. But the quality kept going down further and further and further. Miss 1776, what
Well,
you got to say?
it's like that meme I sent you with the person saying they don't care if there's any solutions, they just want to be mad. They killed my favorite turtle. That show is trash for killing my favorite turtle. I don't care if the author gave his blessing. Because we're not announcing which turtles all got it. I hate the turtle that survived. I can't stand that turtle. It's the one that gets on my nerves the most.
That's hilarious. That's funny. So let's see. The new turtles, I believe their names are Odin, Yi, Moha, and Uno. So maybe they've got some new colors as well. So
Well, not new colors, but unique colors from the originals.
and these are a look at the new turtles and the siblings that they are. We got the small male, the large male, and the two females on either end. It looks like
Mm-hmm.
one large female, one small female. And I don't know who's who, and I'm glad they didn't give us the colors. That doesn't, it looks like they're not going to be wearing masks.
Yo, it's a new time. They don't gotta hide anymore.
Free the turtle. Left Behind. You watch that show?
I don't.
I mean, the Last of Us there?
No.
Well, episode 6 took everybody down a dark pathway, continuing through the storyline of the video game. And they're taking this opportunity for a flashback that was basically a DSL in the video game. So, in the story, we have the father character there. He's not really her father, but he takes that role on for her. And just as the point where he's getting used to being that, he winds up getting gored and falling out of action. In the game itself, Ellie winds up having to take care of him, forage for him and them both, and fight off raiders. That's what you had to do as that character in the video game. But it looks like what they're doing instead is what I call filler. And you know about this in the TV shows and things. They're going to take a look back at when she got bit and walking through the whole area where the infected are, her and a friend of hers, and they get to do this whole sort of quasi relationship almost happens between the two girls, and then they get infected together, and then one of them, obviously, one of them dies and the other one doesn't, because that's what she had said previously. So, backstory filler. And then 2 more episodes after that, and the whole thing is done, I think. Let's see. Is it just... Yeah, it's 2 more episodes left in the series. And having... I didn't play the game, but I did watch a playthrough that was suggested to me by Cole. So I did that, and it was a full 9-hour playthrough that I watched. And the ending is I'm not going to give it away, the ending that I saw, but I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy with it.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. When you get angry enough to leave a stream over a Ninja Turtle, go ahead and take that time.
Oh, I thought my laptop was just sick of hearing me talk, so it went ahead and cut the power on me. Like the hook to me.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it's time for an upgrade in the laptop.
Yeah, I mean it could be. I definitely not. I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to do a hotspot. I think on my phone, so that way I can have a backup when the Wi-Fi wants to act up, or this laptop, whichever one's deciding to act up. I'm gonna fix it one way.
Did you happen to see the episode 6 of The Last of Us?
Not me.
Well, I guess might not have a whole lot to say about that. Probably saying a whole lot more to her laptop than she would to us about the Last of Us. But I think we can go ahead and let me see here. You know what? I think I'm going to be okay when the show leaves. I know they've already done. They've already greenlit season 2 to be based on the second video game.
Yeah, makes sense. Two.
And I don't think that. I think if they end it there, it's probably a good idea. You don't want to get ahead of the source material, like HBO wants to do on occasion.
I don't want Pedro Pascal to be occupied with anything that's not Star Wars.
I just love how Hispanic all of the sci-fi is starting to get. So let's see. The last thing we do here on the show is what I call the lightning round. And what we do is we take a quick hot take on a couple of different things. So let's have a look at Batman real quick. Do we like the Batfleck, or do we like the Bale Fleck or Bat Bale?
It's called Christ Fleck. Or okay, let's go with. Show me the. He looks fat here. No, Christian Bale. Winner.
Skinny Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Skinny Batman. Okay. Comic book MODOK or live action MODOK?
It's pretty easy. I'm gonna go with the comic book version, please. Can you change the screen? That's better.
I have to favor the comic book MODOK too. But I do think that because they were two different starting characters that became MODOK, it's okay that their character personality was not exactly the same either.
Different take on MODOK, kind of like the different take on Taskmaster. And yeah, it's, if you don't really care about the character that much, I guess fine, just do nothing with him. Or switch it around to serve your story, whatever. It's a little Easter egg character. The movie wasn't called MODOK. If the movie was MODOK and it was the main character, then I'm gonna expect some accuracy. Same way I would like for Kamala Khan to have the exact same comic book powers that she has in live action. That didn't happen, and I am fuming about that. How could you get someone's powers wrong? But yeah, this isn't like Ms. Marvel.
Well, if you're going to do stretching powers, you want to do it with Reed Richards first.
Bull. If you're going to do healing powers, you're going to want to do with Wolverine first or Deadpool first. But for some reason, some dude in She-Hulk could fall off of buildings and be Mr. Immortal. We've had double Hawkeyes and double people all over the place. Like, it's whatever.
Yeah, I blame bad writing on bad writers that don't know the source material.
Yeah.
So, that's, and plus, my own personal
She can
canon.
do more though. She's a polymorph. Her body could get bigger and smaller. They didn't explore that. They could make her change her appearance to look like Carol Danvers. Except I guess they didn't want to pay Brie Larson money to cameo in like the early episodes of this show because she's supposed to turn into Carol Danvers. That's the power. And she looks like Ms. Marvel from like earlier when she was called Ms. Marvel. That's part of the canon. They didn't do that with her. There's a lot that she can do with her body. And they said, this is going to be light. She walks on top of the hard light. Yeah, anyways. We're talking about MODOK. I prefer this MODOK.
I think this MODOK is harder to cosplay as than this MODOK. And I think I probably got myself a new cosplay outfit.
Yeah, notice how this MODOK is not a screenshot. They didn't release a single still image or anything of an actual MODOK. They were so ashamed of it.
Okay, we got Supergirl or Power Girl.
I can't give it to Supergirl who's not blonde. Nothing against her, the person who plays her, but I gotta give it to the Power Girl. And I hate the boob window.
The story about Power Girl's cleavage, right?
It was drawn as a joke and then bigger and bigger every single issue.
Until they finally the editors caught on and said, hey, knock it off. You want us to go back? No, I didn't say go back. I just said knock it off. It doesn't need to get any bigger. Miss 1776, let's give you an opportunity.
Dad Fleck.
According to Chilmaker, fat man
Like,
or skinny man?
oh, Christian Bale.
This
Yeah.
one. Okay, Christian
Oh,
Bale.
yeah.
Comic book MODOK or live action MODOK?
I'm gonna go with comic book MODOK. This one looks like Punchline.
Supergirl or Power Girl?
Power Girl. I'm gonna go with Power Girl's outfit.
And finally, what is his name again? Oh my goodness.
Omni-Man?
Omni-Man, that's right. Omni-Man or the Patriot? No, that's not it. Not the Patriot.
It's not Soldier Boy.
No, it's my goodness, I had his name in my head. Something Tier? Something no. Patrioteer is one of my comic book characters. Anyway, this guy or that guy. They're both basically Superman analogs. They're both really bad guys and super violent and bloody.
Okay, I think his name is Homelander.
Homelander, that's a good one.
Homelander.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Omni-Man.
You're going to go with Omni-Man? What do you think out there in the streaming world, the three people that are watching us right now? What are your choices in the lightning round? Let us know in the comments below so we can talk about that.
I'm going to base mine off of the abs, and Omni-Man doesn't have them. At least they don't show in the suit, compared to Homelander, who definitely, it's a suit that is fitted to curve abs. I don't care. I'm going to give it to the ab man right here.
Oh, those abs are built into the suit.
Built into the suit. Yeah, clearly.
And I think
they used to have.
Omni-Man is an alien, so that's why he's got just the one ab right there. He's just an alien.
He's still got a mustache. He's got all these physical properties of humans, but alien abs.
All right. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, leave a comment there. And I think we're done with that. Any last words? Anything else you guys want to talk about real quick?
Nah.
I missed the whole segment. The Last of Us. Was it? I missed the segment of The Last of Us. I was like so prepared for that one. I'm disappointed.
Go ahead, please. No. Go ahead.
Oh, good morning, Tony. So we're not doing spoilers kind of things, right? So
you can if you want to. You can if you want to. Go ahead.
This was my least favorite episode. I really enjoyed it up until this point. I didn't like what they did to Joel. I feel like they made him really weak. My grandfather's like this really like crazy mountain man of a guy. He's like a big old dude. He's a scary dude, and in his 70s, like he's a big scary dude that scares people in his 70s. And they're making Joel seem all weak and frail during this apocalypse when he's supposed to be a total baddie. That was a disappointment. I didn't really care for that scene at all.
But he had the emotions, you know. Doesn't that make him relatable a little bit?
Not at all. My grandpa's relatable. My grandpa's a very stoic man, and he teases, but yeah, I know I'm the apple of his eye. You know what? Like when he'll do little things like he'll write "I love you" in a card, and that's like a big deal. Every once in a while, I'll get a text that says it. Not often, but it makes that time that he says it impactful, and that's kind of what they did with Joel. They also took away his big moment of accepting Ellie. They took away that moment from him, like how they did it in the video game. I felt like they took it from him by having him say, "Okay, you want a choice?" And to me, that moment when they did it, again, kind of reminds me of my grandpa, something he would do, especially because he used to like take me to the car rallies and stuff, and it meant a lot to me, you know. So I was just like, they jacked it from him. So that was my spiel on it.
Well, it's a very good spiel to have. I think one of the things that The Last of Us does really well is put people in positions of emotional conflict with how they deal out the story. And one of the things that impresses me is the fact that they've got one of the game creators as a consultant who continues to advise on the stories. God bless you. And, you know, keeps the story, the essentials of the story, what's important about the story, and then lets the showrunner bring in what he feels would be important in the story. So apparently his manlyhood was not important to the story, but
Well, I mean,
you know,
that's pretty obvious in the second last. It's pretty obvious what was it in the Last of Us 2. Um, I am hoping that since he was willing to change some things in The Last of Us, maybe they'll change that. He'll redeem himself in the show. I'm not gonna hold my breath, but maybe.
well, you know, I think the next episode coming up is going to be a flashback to when she got infected. So we're not going to see a whole lot of Joel development and, you know, her hunting skills and everything else in the next episode
That
because
will be
they're going to
actually
be
pretty
filling it up.
interesting. You know, that's gonna be kind of cool to see the flashback because obviously I don't think we got that in the game. So that's something to.
Well, that was included as a downloadable content.
So then MSK sent me a bad link to watch the thing. Okay, I'm gonna have to have a chat with him later.
I can't believe he's still up.
Killmonger or MSK?
MSK.
Up? Oh, wait, he's still up? He didn't go to bed?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. He's got to go to sleep.
It's like
That guy's,
7:46 Pacific, right?
yeah, he's going to burn. And he was up late last night, so he's going to burn the candle at both ends if he's not careful.
Yeah, somebody needs to let him know that speed kills. That's a drug joke for anybody out there.
We watched
the Dare program.
Yeah.
You know, I you know, he works from that. He needs a green screen. That's all I'll say. Definitely needs a green screen.
That'd help. How expensive are those? I might get one myself. Like, these stars are cool and all, but like, maybe sometimes green screens would work better.
No, I dig your background. I've always liked that when I saw that, because it's not the you know, what's going on in your office look that most people have when they do their videos and whatnot.
But look, like a green screen can come up and come down, so it wouldn't kill it. I could put posters up, I could do things. Yeah, green screen might be next, and like it's a tax write off. Like I did taxes for last year, just a few weeks ago, bro. The amount of things I found out you could write off, it's crazy. Green screen is going to be one of them.
Yeah, my accountant takes care of all that stuff for me. So
yeah. Yeah, when you're like an independent contractor, you can write off so much stuff that you can't write off, you know, just having a regular. And I was so mad they had to switch me at my job from being an independent contractor to like regular employee because California screwed over the independent contractors. And I was like, oh my gosh, I lost like all my write-offs. So I don't know what's going to happen this year when I get, you know, Uncle Sam's hand in my wallet. So we'll see.
You go to Austin, Texas, like everyone else.
Yeah, that's like California light.
I don't want to go to
all the benefits of Texas and all the criminality you've grown to love and cherish in California.
I want to go somewhere that's like as like conservative as me, like where there's a bunch of other crazy people like me.
Like Wyoming.
I know everyone's like nowhere.
Yeah. You know what? My wife and I were talking about where you could wear a hat in the United States, and it's basically everywhere except the East and West Coast.
And then there I am in the West Coast wearing a hat.
Oh, you're talking about the red "Make America Great" hat?
No, I'm just talking about a cowboy hat. You know.
Okay. But if you were talking about that, it reminds me of the little "What would you do?" when they went to a diner and the guy was like, "I'm not going to serve you because of your hat." And they were like, oh, what are people going to do? What are they going to say? And they went to like one of those 50-50 counties so that they would see what happens. Yeah. I love that What Would You Do show with John Quinones. And he comes out with the cameras. You're like, oh, I know who you are. I want to be on one of those so bad, but I don't think they come to Toronto. But if they ever did, I'd be so happy.
You know, I'm surprised that they don't have more people swinging on those programs, you know, because there's a lot of people that would just get up and fight somebody. these
Depending
days.
on the scenario that they're trying to set up, yeah. But sometimes it's mild, and it's like, what would you do about this? And there's a guy with a wedding dress, saying, "Oh, your measurements don't fit. Try this dress instead." Or an abusive kind of domestic guy. Then when he goes to the washroom, one of the mothers who are just like watching this all transpire, they go, "Honey, that's not who you want to marry." And it's never going to be one of those physical things. It's usually to a talking scenario.
I saw one where they did the white girlfriend going into a black barbershop.
I remember this one, yeah.
Yeah. And the man was getting the haircut, and the barber was telling him that he should be with the sister or something like that.
Yeah, I know the exact one you're talking about. And the thing is, the actress who was doing that and being all negative, she herself is dating a white guy, and she's like the barber. Yeah. It was a good one. It was a good. I like that one. I like them all. Like I usually, who's the best actor? When Tracy is the actor who's like, "Oh, those people are yucky," and when she gets in character, holy! Every time you start a skit and it says Tracy, oh, it's gonna be good.
And gets back to having fun at what you're doing. Having fun at your job. That's what it's all about. Jill, you got something coming up this week that we should be looking out for?
Yes. Everyone, the Creed movie franchise, aka the Rocky movie franchise, is going to add its newest installment next Friday. And we're going to take a moment at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard, which just means 2 hours from now, on my YouTube channel. I'll be doing Creed. I watched both of the movies of Creed, and we're going to talk that. And then we're going to do a Rocky thing with Rosales. Rosales, I said I'd do that with you after this, right? So we can talk right after this, but we will record that also.
We can do that too. That'll be great. Fantastic. Of course, me being 150 million years old, that makes me the expert on everything Rocky. But I think there's only a couple of movies in there that really lean towards leading into the Creed films. Once Apollo goes down, But we'll get into that a little bit later on. Miss 1776, you're always in the spotlight on other people's streams. Where are you going to be showing up next?
I'll be on. God, can't even remember the channel.
Variety Content Entertainment.
Thank you. That is like horrible because I wrote it down somewhere and now I'm like, because I want to say MSK, and then it's like people are gonna be like, well, where is that? And in fact, I actually was going to try to put out a little introduction video on my channel by the 28th because I wanted like a February date, and I have the whole script written out and everything. And I'm like reading it last night, like, this sounds stupid. So yeah, next find me on that Variety Entertainment Content channel on the Nightwing podcast, or anytime he needs pulls me up on League of Legend, and what's the other one that he does? The Yu-Gi-Oh podcast, which I know nothing about either of those two things. So don't ask me for advice on those two.
Well, I hope you have a great time on those shows. Jill Monger, thanks for being here. Miss 1776, thanks for being here. Tony, always good to see you in the comments. Glad you made it. And everybody else, I want you to get out there and make it a great day.